You are now listening to the Pelicans post-game report. Flash report.
For all things Pelicans, you're now tuned into the Pelican post-game report. Much love to the fam. Appreciate y'all being in this installment of PPR. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and by all means, feel free to share the show on your social media feed. Another PPR flash report. I'm Big Q. DC will be chiming in momentarily. Man, the Pelicans making moves and reshaping the team. Today, the Pelicans have waived Antonio Reeves, second-round draft pick for the Pels, has been waived by Joe Dumars and company. Reeves, 6'5", 205, appeared in 44 regular season games, 6 starts for the Pels, averaged 7 points, 1.4 on the rebounds, just under assists per contest, and 15 minutes per game. He appeared in 11 contests last season for the Beham squadron and averaged over 24 points per game, 6 rebounds, and 2 assists in 38 and a half minutes of action. He was originally selected 47th overall in the draft of 2024 out of the University of Kentucky. Just had collegiate averages of 15 points, three boards, and almost an assist and a half per game. Shot 45% from the field and 38% from downtown and 80% from the foul line during that time when he was ultimately in the college. So, but Antonio Reeves ultimately getting waived. The Pelicans, man, this is quite a shocker because we kind of figured if moves are going to be made, it'll be rumored that Jordan Hawkins was in the fray, but this kind of singles a bit of commitment to one of your young shooters, with Jordan Hawkins being the guy. And then, of course, this also happened to report on as the Pelicans immediately signed a two-way player in Trey Alexander for the Pels. They signed him here, and a bit of information on Trey Alexander is this is a very interesting player that they ended up kind of bringing to bear here. After the move here to a two-way deal, he appeared in 24 games with the Nuggets last season. Not much on the averages there, but if you look at Trey Alexander's numbers in terms of what he did in the G League, was actually pretty decent. He had averaged almost 26 points a game on 46% shooting, 39.5% shooting from downtown, 6 rebounds, almost 6 assists, over a steal and a half in the G League when he played for them as well. So very interesting player. Trey Alexander, Pelicans like him, and they ultimately signed him to a two-way spot. So Pelicans making moves, trying to improve, but the really crazy part of today is the fact that the Pels put Antonio Reeves, a very promising second-round shooter who played defense very smooth, in the street. So we're bringing in DC to see what he wants to kind of talk about it. DC, what do you make of the moves, in your opinion, with Antonio Reeves and now Trey Alexander? What's going on? Seems like they're freeing up in the spot, brother, for something to happen.
Man, the Pelicans are they are a lot of things, but I don't think you will ever be able to call the Pelicans boring anymore. Just when you think you kind of got a handle on what's going on, they throw for a curveball, man. That's been under the current organizations with Joe Dumars. Obviously, it hurts, getting rid of Antonio Reeves. Us who've sat through that atrocity you call the season last year, know that he was one of the few bright spots in the season. Him and Carlo Makovich, it's like, okay, we might have something for the future. Then you had Kelly Olynyk and the potential with Zion, and they traded him. They cut Antonio Reeves. So all we got left now is Carlo. He ain't got nothing else to hang on to from last year other than Carlo. And I guess Jeremiah Fears, that would be a representation of the 2025 season. But the brother, he was shooting almost 50% from three-point line at the end of the year, shot 40% on the year. He was a dude, at least from my opinion, I know we had a pretty shitty defense, but I don't think it was a fault of his own. He's always coming up, knack for steals. Intelligent basketball player, man. They threw him out there at point guard. Not really his cup of tea, but, he wasn't having turnovers. When we did that, he's just a really solid player, man. Didn't really have crazy athletic gifts. And I could see, if you cutting somebody, there was nothing about Antonio that I look at and I'm like, okay, oh my God, he's special. He didn't have that, but he was a diligent worker. He was poised. He was always prepared. He made excellent basketball decisions, whether the ball was in his hand or not. Obviously he was a rookie, so he made mistakes, but he was a damn solid player, man. And you paying him like $1.5 million? I would want to have somebody like that on my roster just in case. I need to call him up. Does this signal that the Pels are not moving on from Jordan Hawkins? Because we had a lot of stuff with him and Trey talks. They have a team option they can apply to him next year for $7 million, which isn't a lot of money in the NBA, but based on the production we got from Jordan Hawkins last year, not the year before last year, we pay, he's got potential. But last year was just a complete dud, man. And then the back issues and everything. So something, in my opinion, definitely has to be going on. I don't think you solidified your rotation by getting rid of Antonio Reeves and not replacing that with something. So looking at Trey Alexander here, this is very interesting. I can't lie. I like Trey Alexander. It's almost like if the Walmart version of Therese Halliburton, the Walmart version of Jordan Poole. He's like some of his shots, it looks like a slow Jordan Poole. He's kind of got that lunky height like Halliburton, and a little bit of playmaking abilities, not Halliburton-like playmaking abilities, but this guy can score, man. He can score getting in the paint, finish at the rim. He can score in the mid-range, and he scored behind three-point line. And, shot a couple of logo threes. He done had a lot of games in the G League where he blew up, and almost scored, 40 points, 36 or something. Another game I'm looking at, he had like 32, 34, 31. Like, you're talking about the rookie of the G League, right, Big Q? That's what you told me, huh?
That's right. Yeah. That's what he was, bro. Averaging almost 26 points a game. The guy could play, bro.
Right. So we lose Antonio Reeves, and I'm pretty sure if you look at Antonio Reeves' numbers in the G League, it's not anything like that. But these are two different players. Antonio Reeves is a certified role player. To me, you're looking at a guy like Trey Alexander. You don't know what he could be given the opportunity. So I guess maybe they gave him a two-way spot. So that means we still have a roster spot open. So something else is coming available. You still got guys like Cam Whitmore that we know the Rockets are trying to move off because he wants to leave. You have the possibility, or the ever-going possibility, of us moving DeJounte Murray for something. We've always been linked to John Collins for the last 2-3 years, and they've been trying to move. What if we do something over there? Got Russell Westbrook that's still out there. I know a lot of family don't want no Russell Westbrook, but Joe Dumars around here handing out compliments about how tough he plays. So it's something is going on. There's also whispers of the trade being expanded, from the Wizards trade with Jordan Poole, and then trying to work out the Kuminga deal with that. Like, there's so many, rumors right now. You don't know what's really true. But what we do know is that the Pels, there's no way that they're done. I don't think you just get rid of Antonio Reeves and then that's it. You still, if Jordan Poole goes down, I still think our guard rotation is quite thin. We do have Jose, we got Fears, you got Hawk, but with Reeves going now, I think you need something a little more solid or consistent. Or maybe they've been working out PV the last few days, and they're pretty high on him. I mean, the dude is like 6'6", 6'7", 220 pounds, and he had similar numbers to Trey Alexander to end out the season in college basketball. So there's a lot of things going on, man. But definitely don't like the move. Would have liked to have Antonio Reeves stay with the team. I can't judge it and say that I hate it or they're wrong. Right now, they're still putting together the roster, so I gotta kind of sit back, see what they do, man, and look forward to it and seeing how it turns out. So let Dumars and them get to work, and then the media has one more thing to blast us over. I'm sure a lot of the Pels faithful are not happy about this move today.
Yeah, because of the attachment to Antonio Reeves and seeing what he did last year, so I can understand some apprehension in terms of what the Pelicans did.
He earned it, Big Q. He earned
it. Exactly. And it will, like we're saying, the work, the body of work didn't translate over to the new administration. They kind of thought that they can do better. They waived him. And of course, we talked about Trey Alexander and Hunter Dickinson have been reported, according to NBA.com's transaction log, is both of those guys are on two-way contracts. So Trey Alexander and Hunter Dickinson. And remember, the Pelicans do have Lester Quinones also on a two-way deal. So there you go, DC. As we said, man,
these are the most exciting two-way players I think we've had since Najee and Jose and all of them were there, man.
Yeah, you could be right. I mean, we're going to see how it all plays out, man, to be honest with you. But the red herring is the fact that they free open a spot for what a potential trade that's going to happen. And like you said, there was, you mentioned Cam Whitmore. You know how I like Cam Whitmore and how good I think he could be for a team.
You'll be happy if he get in, huh?
Hey, bro, I'll be like you when we landed.
No. Stop. You know what I started? I started to jump in front of it. We got Didi Lozada. I already knew you was gonna go there.
I'll be as happy as DC when we got Didi Lozada. All right. So anyway,
man, all that happiness went away when I met Didi on the street. I tried to have a conversation with him, and he just kept telling me yes. It's like, yeah, man, you don't know no English.
No English, dog. No, none whatsoever. But yeah, this gonna be interesting, man, to see, because we know that the rumor mill is circulating for Kuminga, and you mentioned the expanded trade situation that's going on. Would it be a fix to that? It's going to be interesting, man, to see what is cooking right here this offseason. But we've seen a lot of movement with the Pelicans, Jordan Poole and Sadiq Bey here, them releasing and putting in the street Brandon Boston Jr., them releasing now with Reeves, putting them in the street, man, putting Elfrid Payton in the street. We know it would have been competitive, but it's like Joe Dumars and Troy Weaver going down that line, man, kind of knocking things down. And then also, DC, to talk about some news to tie to it with Borrego. Let's talk a little coaching news right quick with Borrego. Borrego, of course, wasn't selected for the job with the New York Knicks. That job went to my surprise, Mike Brown. I didn't think Mike Brown was a serious candidate, but the Knicks went from Tibbs to Brown. And as a key assistant, Brown wants Borrego as his top assistant. And not only that, but Denver's also asked about getting Borrego there. Borrego, but of course they turned both of those down. They turned down the Knicks gesture. They turned down the Nuggets gesture because they, according to reports, see it as a lateral move, which means they don't want him to be a top assistant under another coach. They want him to stay up under Willie Green. And ultimately, this could serve positive because you know what happened. You know, when the time comes and Willie Green doesn't handle his business with this roster they're going to put his ass in the street, and Borrego's going to be the guy that they're going to want to take over this team and push him. So that's a little news on that, DC. What are your thoughts on that?
Man, I know James Borrego was probably like, man, he probably seen how our dude, the mind felt. You know what I'm saying? Dude was trying to get up out of there for like 3 years, bro. He was just trapped there. And he finally went to Detroit. It's like the same thing with Borrego. And like every offseason, Borrego goes interview for all these coaching vacancies and stuff.
I know.
You know what happened,
Right.
Q? I think he be doing good in the interview. And then like somewhere in the middle of the interview, he'd be like, so y'all gonna hire me? You gonna hire me? Like he'd be so eager and desperate to get out of here, bro. He would start taking the interview like halfway through.
I'll work for free. He's a little too desperate.
Right.
He's a little too desperate, yeah.
And people start getting nervous and shit. Like, damn, he was doing good. It's like, man, I don't know about this. What's wrong with Borrego? But yeah,
a little too desperate.
So, the Pels, I know they have all this stuff about giving them permission, right? But I think when you're a coach, if you're moving up in a position like a head coach, like he can just leave. He can void his contract. They don't have to give him permission, but to make a lateral move or a lesser move, the Pels have to give them a blessing to do that. And I ain't mad at us for not doing that, man. Look, you hold them hostage one more year because we need to put that damn pressure on Willie Green. Because if Willie goes, and I'm a little more lenient than most, I say you give him 20 games. If Willie goes in these 20 games and it's just a horrible start, even if they like borderline 500, man, I'm pulling the plug. If I've seen something where we lost 3 or 4 games that we should have won for sure, and it was just on coaching, you pull the plug and you put Borrego on there, man. I think the players know that. Dumars knows that. Trey Weaver knows that. So they're gonna hold them hostage here, man, because ain't no more open coaching jobs. Q, so he's stuck.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing too. And this could be a good situation. Yes, he's been interviewing for the last couple of years to try to see if he can get out of here. Like you mentioned, Trajan Langdon did the same thing 3 straight years. Third time was the charge when he took over the Pistons and turned them around in one season. And really, we kind of basically, if you looked at it, we swapped GMs because Trajan took over the Detroit job, and what they had up there in Weaver came down here. So, that was kind of a weird situation, but nonetheless, Pelicans reshaping his team, man. A lot of stuff is going on, a lot of moving pieces in part. We still got a big move yet to unfold, bro. So we're just going to have to be monitoring it the whole way down the line.
I think we need to come up with something the family could vote on, Big Q, on what move they think going to happen. You think we getting Cam Whitmore? You think it's going to be Kuminga? Or just you think we're getting Russell Westbrook? Or, we put like another category. I'm curious to see how people view this, man, because I really don't know, to be honest with you. If I had to bet money on it right now, I wouldn't know what to bet on.
Yeah, I mean, that we'll fix a poll to the show, matter of fact, and you guys feel free to vote in the poll, man, and we'll talk about the results on the next one. And by the way, for the family members that want to know when the next time we do a show, we'll be doing one on Saturday night, man. We'll be covering the Pelicans. Go ahead, DC.
What happened to Timo Najee, man? So we just got rid of him?
You talking about Keon Brooks? Yeah. I mean, as far as what I know, I think Keon Brooks is restricted, if I'm not mistaken, because we do have a couple of these players that are restricted.
Because he was a two-way guy. I thought he was going to have one of those two-way slots. Did we give him a roster spot?
I don't think he has a roster spot. I know the 3 two-ways we talked about, but I think Keon is one of our restrictors. I'm going to have to look it up to see what's to make sure. But the last time I remember talking about it, I remember seeing his contract as a restricted, and I could be wrong on that.
I saw that too. It was like on Sports Track, but they also had what's your boy for Denver? They had him still on the team, so I guess everything ain't been updated the way it should be.
Yeah, Reeves' contract was not guaranteed, so it's like $2 million contract. So they kind of get him on up out of here, and that's pretty much what it is. So it's just I'm just kind of sad about Reeves, because I thought he was a player that didn't really cost us much, but ultimately I thought he could be a player that kind of help us kind of get some good value, some shooting. He was very smooth, played defense, and that guy, really intelligent. He was an older player, but he was very mature so far as how his game played, man. And unfortunately, the Pelicans put him in the street. They feel like they got a better player in Trey Alexander on the two-way. And of course, I think, like we've talked about, I think eventually they're probably opening up a spot for a potential another big hit.
Keon Brooks is a free agent, man.
Yeah, he was on a two-way. Lester, I'm just looking at it, DC, the last 4 two-way players we had that was mentioned is Lester Quinones, Jalen Crutcher, Jamal Cain, and Keon Brooks. So Lester Quinones, we know for a fact, as a two-way. We just talked about Trey Alexander, and the big center we just got as well. So that's 3 two-ways, and Keon Brooks was supposed to be that guy. But it looked like they're showing that he's a free agent, but is he restricted or unrestricted?
I don't see any restrictions, but I mean, we didn't draft him, so we wouldn't have no bird rights under him. How do we have him restricted?
I remember seeing that somewhere. You're right. It could have been this mark. That's probably what it was.
I mean, maybe he is. Maybe it's something I'm not familiar with. When you sign a two-way guy like that, you the first person to sign him. Maybe you get him or something.
Yes, salary switch saying he's restricted. They got a restriction, a RFA on him. So but then again, they mentioned that they're saying it's unconfirmed. Because I remember that I was saying, I think that guy.
I like him too, man. But anyway, I mean, he's pretty good.
But we're not. I mean, but in any case, if he's restricted, I don't think the Pelicans going to offer him a contract to play back. If you kind of think about it. We'll see what they got going on, because I think a trade is definitely impending. All right. So anyway, with that being said, man, we're gonna get ready to get out on that. I appreciate y'all for joining us for this episode of Pelican post game report, the Flash Report. Y'all do us a service by hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, and by all means, feel free to chime in. What questions y'all have, man? Put them in the chat. Questions, answers. If y'all got comments, everything, questions and comments, put them in the chat, in the description. In the comment section below. Let us know how you feel about all these moves that the Pelicans are making, or do you guys approve of this stuff? Let us know. Put it in the chat. All right. So with that being said, Big QDC, shout out to Lex, shout out to the entire Flocking Nation, man. We're gonna holler at you guys on Saturday night. Much love to the fam. Peace. Go Pels.
Subscribe now and stay up to date for all things New Orleans